Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another scene set in Chronicles of Darkness, Vampire the Requiem, a Requiem for London. Tonight, we set our scene in the ever populous domain of Westminster. Nikolai has been sent by his sire to do a little bit of wet work. At a club called The Profile. A fairly, relatively hard establishment. Smack dab in the middle of Covent Garden. The club, however, usually, quite strangely, is closed this evening. Apparently, interior building work cited is the explanation. Nikolai, you arrive on the scene in whatever manner of transportation you choose to take. Probably well hidden a couple of blocks away from the club itself. What do you have on you? What are you wearing?
I'm wearing just like black clothing, a black hoodie, stuff that the balaclava I have, but I'm also wearing underneath it more formal clothing just in case. Not like super nice clothing, but like button-up shirt with a tie, that sort of stuff, just so I could strip down, just in case it's not going to work.
Quick dress change in case things go south.
Yep. I've got my wall tap microphone, which is you can press up to the wall and hear what's on the other side. I've got a shotgun microphone, which can pick up sounds with in 500 feet, and obviously you can use it to narrow down what conversations you get, what sounds you get. It's a laser microphone. I've got several different style spy cameras. GPS, some GPS taggers. My lockpick kit. A small holdout pistol, nothing fancy, just in case it goes oh shit. I've always got a key logger on me, as well as a signal jamper. And that's about it, I guess. Oh, and then something that a little pad that I can clone cell phones with.
All right. So you have a fair amount on you.
Yeah, I have a fair amount.
Long enough for it to be a list.
Yeah.
But perhaps nothing too bulky. So you begin making your way to the profile with your collection of spy gear. The first thing you notice, given that you scoped the place out just a night ago, is that there is an increased security presence outside the building. It was never really particularly pronounced when you went there last night. There was security around the front, and occasionally a guy would come out around the back, but they were on break. They weren't on the job, as it were. But you do notice a few people around the building, a few security workers, just taking their time, walking around the building, chatting as they go. They are reasonably well armed. Like yourself, they carry a lethal weapon.
All right. What? So let's see. If I watch them, do they look like they have a pattern to their patrol?
If you take your time and keep your distance,
Yep.
just to make sure you avoid the cameras. Yeah, if they have a pattern, they don't stick to it particularly rigidly. Sometimes they stop and start, depending on the nature of their conversation. They're just making small talk with each other.
All right. Watching this, can I see any gaps in their patrol?
Gaps, yeah, there's a few blind spots. There's 2 or 3 groups. They're not they're well organized, but they're not at least tonight they don't seem particularly well disciplined. Don't appear to have ran into any trouble, and
Yeah.
they have no reason to believe anyone's going to hit this place. So they're taking the evening quite easy.
Do I think one of these gaps is long enough for me to slip in?
Depends on where you want to slip into. The front entrance of the building has security just standing on the outside of it.
I was actually looking more at the back.
The back door does not have the same security presence. There is a gate that you can use to maneuver in. You have obfuscate up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Guess
You could just make me a quick, not dex stealth roll, but wit stealth roll. As if you're seen in this area, they'll be able to make a roll to see through your obfuscate, as you're not meant to be here.
All right.
As such, that would be equivalent to drawing attention to yourself. But if you succeed, then they won't get to make that roll. So even if they do spot you, there's a chance they won't see you at all. Oh, an exceptional success. So not only do they not see you, but your obfuscate appears to be holding particularly well this evening. Its integrity is quite strong. It's certainly not going to break in the face of any overt physical interaction with anything that you happen to interact with. Like a door, or just being caught just being caught by the security. It's holding very firm.
All right.
So from this point onward, no security will be able to roll against you, even if they spot you, unless you
Nice.
attack them. Yeah, if you interact with them physically, then they will
I'm a
automatically
lover, not a fighter.
move. On the off chance that things go south.
Oh God. All right. I'm going to make my way towards the that nice locked door. As I'm going to get there, I'm going to do a quick check just to make sure this doesn't have any sort of like magnet alarm system lock or anything like that, and is just a simple lock.
The backdoor shutters are only held in place by simple analog lock. There's nothing particularly complex or tricksy about it.
All right. I'll get out my lock picking tools and quickly
You've got
get
a
to work.
kit, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's plus 2 dice. So it's Dex plus Larceny plus 2.
Plus, I can do this as a reflexive action.
Depending on your successes, it may take you a little bit, although it is a fairly simple lock, so if you know what you're doing, it should open up pretty quickly.
Only one success.
Only one success. That's a bit unfortunate. Fortunately, you know well the patterns that the cameras and the security teams are following. So you're able to avoid them, but it takes you a couple of tries. You have to leave the door a couple of times just because you know you're running down that clock. But eventually, you manage to, after a couple of attempts, wriggle it open after a few minutes of effort, and you're able to pull the shutters up. Normally, your obfuscate would
Break
be
at
put
this
under
point.
pressure. This is when you realize it's holding particularly well this evening. You still feel that sense of isolation from the world as you open up the shutters, which is maybe slightly surprising.
The gods are with me.
So it would seem.
Nox is with me. And let's quickly shut the shutters behind me. Hopefully I can position as I'm shutting them the lock so it looks like it's still attached.
It's the lock is attached to the shutter, so
Alright, so it's not like a padlock or something.
It's not a padlock, no.
Alright.
You're able to make your way, and you don't have to open the shutters up full way, of course. So getting in is very quick. You're just able to close it behind you.
Yep. Looking for doing a quick scan for cameras before. That's the first thing I look for as I enter this back, I'm assuming, warehouse area.
There don't appear to be any cameras in this part of the building.
Alright.
It's just a. Actually, that's not accurate. You're in the garage area, so
Yeah.
that's my apologies. No, there is a camera. It's you're sort of sitting at the edge of the frame of it, you would think.
Alright. I'm going to quickly move out of its line of sight. and then take a better look around at what I see in this room.
Okay. This is a garage area. Looks like it's meant for deliveries and the like, for the owners to park their vehicles.
Are there any knowable vehicles in here?
Currently, no. There are no vehicles. And this is just an empty garage from the looks of it.
All right.
A few tools, but nothing that looks fat out of place, really. Yeah, everything looks, at least here, looks entirely mundane and non-suspicious.
All right. And assuming there's how many entryways are
There's
there
only
in here?
one.
All right.
It's just a door to the far right end of the room. So it is in the camera's view. So you'll either need to bop the camera or just head through the door very quickly. Granted, you are generally well concealed. You're wearing a balaclava and the like, so...
Still. The camera, is it swiveling? Or is it a stationary?
It is a stationary camera.
All right. Oh. Rats. I forgot to get some sort of repeater for cameras. But luckily, I do have a couple cell phones. So here's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
I'm going to position myself so I'm taking a picture of what the camera would normally see.
Okay.
If I can reach the camera, I'm going to unplug the camera quickly, put this tape this picture in front of it, then plug the camera back in.
Also, what are you trying to do, sorry?
All right, never mind. Actually, that's... I was going to basically put a picture in front of the camera of the normal garage.
Oh.
But that probably won't work, so...
Yeah, they'd notice,
Yeah.
Obviously, if someone were looking at this, they'd notice the frame of a mobile phone. It would be fairly noticeable. You got two options. It kind of depending on. Okay. All right, something like 1.5. So you could attempt to celerity through the door. Obviously, the door opening and closing would be noticed, but Kindred obviously aren't really perceived correctly on technology, let alone when they're moving at supernatural speed. Or you could attempt to just move the camera slightly. Which would at least, so far, it might have caught the edge of your form when you entered through the shutters. But it certainly wouldn't have caught the fullness of you, at the very least. In a worst case scenario, there's a partial shot of like your shoulder and your arm and maybe your left leg or something. But outside of that,
so if anyone was watching the camera at the time, they know I'm here.
They'd already know.
All right. In that case, I might as well celerity through.
Okay. Go straight through the door. Have a lot of speed. You don't smash through it, but you certainly move very quickly. And you head straight into a large storage area. It's actually quite large. It's like a small warehouse in terms of size.
if I have enough celerity left, I'm just going to use the rest of it up to duck behind a crate.
Okay. There are crates here. There's a lot on this. There's a lot here actually. A lot of containers. Less packages of drinks and confectionaries and alcohol than you're expecting. But there's certainly a lot of cargo in here.
Any cameras in this area?
No. Interestingly, there are no cameras in this part of the club. Not that you can see.
Are these cargo containers labeled?
No, they're all blank.
Can I check what's in these containers?
You can open a few of them if you want.
All right. They're not like wooden containers that if I open them, I break them and I can't really reseal them, right? What kind of?
Some of them are like that. Others less so.
I'll
And you should be
avoid
able
the
to reseal them.
yeah. I'll avoid the wooden ones.
Okay. What you see is when you open some of the resealable containers is some very heavy duty firearms. Not assault rifles, not SMGs. They're talking like LMGs, high caliber rifles.
All right.
Like really military grade hardware. Stuff that you certainly wouldn't expect to see in the streets, and definitely not in a club. And you definitely don't think, I mean, this is not the work of a street gang. A street gang would not have access to this sort of material. Just need to BRB real quick and let you mull on that. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Back. So, you see a lot of very heavy weaponry in some of these containers. You can only imagine what's in the wooden crates.
Yeah. Kind of nervous about opening those up. I mean, people probably already saw that I'm here, but is there any way I can open it up and make it look like to quick examination that it's still closed? Does that make sense?
Yeah, you could try.
All right, I'll try doing that.
Okay. I won't make you roll for this. I mean,
Yep.
I think you could do it. Maybe just got damaged when it was taken off the truck or something.
Exactly.
So, in the crates you open up to, there's actually quite different. In the first one, you see a lot of sensitive technical equipment, not too unlike your own, but perhaps a little bit more well funded. And the other, in the far end of the room, you open up. It's it's like a couple of tubes with a mobile phone and a battery attached to it. Would you like to roll me your intelligence firearms?
Intelligence firearms?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just double check what that would be. All right. Not a great roll, but at least it's a roll. 2 successes.
3 successes. Okay, you're pretty sure that's an IED.
I'm going to snap a picture of that one. I'm also going to take a nice snap picture of it. See if I can see if there's any information in the crate about it. If not, just leave it be. Heading back to the spy gear, I'll raid whatever I don't already have. I'm not above stealing. And if any of those crates had some grenades, I'll be pocketing 1 or 2 grenades just in case.
There are some grenades.
I'll pocket 2 grenades.
You succeeded on the firearms check earlier, so you can tell these are incendiaries.
All right.
These are not shrapnel grenades.
They're vampire killers. Right. I'll scan, take pictures of everything I can. Making note. And then I'll move on. This was not the core of my mission, but at least I got some nice goodies from it.
You did. So you had. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So there's a you know the layout of this place because you got the blueprints. You can head out onto the main club floor. You can actually enter from either the ground floor or the first floor from this storeroom, as there is a sort of metal balcony with stairway that takes you up, and you can go onto the main club room floor, an elevated level.
Right.
There's also a basement floor that connects to this storage room.
Okay. I'm going to probably go to the head towards the elevated floor room first. I mean, I'm trying to decide the mean will either probably be in the main club from the sounds of it, or the basement. So I guess I'll start by heading towards the. You said there's basically a catwalk? Is that what you were getting at when you said there's elevated ramps?
Yes.
All right, I'll head towards the catwalk.
You head out onto the catwalk. There is security in here, but they don't seem to notice the door open or close.
Yeah.
The club itself is very much stands in stark contrast to what it was just a night ago. Almost completely empty, aside from a few key members of staff who are still present, most of whom are security. The lights are actually quite bright here. It's almost blinding to your kindred senses, but not quite. It's just slightly irritating. You begin looking around. You probably go for cover, given that there was something here last time that could see you through your obfuscation.
Yep. Hell, I'd be crouching down when I entered first off, and then
you probably don't even really go through. You just kind of open the door and wait and peek.
Yep. Is there a reason for me to enter? Do I see anyone on the ground floor?
Something you actually do see is there is a sort of open VIP area. On the second floor, but all of these floors are not separate rooms. And you can see that's actually being propped up by two metallic pillars that go all the way to the ground floor.
You said they're not separate rooms?
They're not separate rooms. So the ground, first floor, and second floor of the club are all sort of one giant room. So someone on the second floor could see what would be going down on the ground floor and the first floor if they were looking.
All right. Looks like a good hiding spot. Does it look like the meeting will be taking place in the main club room area?
I was going to say, the reason I highlighted out that the open VIP area for you, which is really just a set of sofas, a glass table, just a cozy little spot to have a word, is that there are two very imposing members of your own clan there. Which, and my minicam crashed. Of course it did. There we go. Technical difficulties. You see the prince and the keeper.
Oh shit. Oh shit. I'm going to swallow and then slowly take out my laser microphone, hook it up to my a recording device, put in my tap, and take aim and fire. Okay, let's hear what they're talking about.
Okay. Just as you do that, or rather as you're setting that up during your few seconds of observation, the prince seems to be quite animated. And the conversation is quite loud. After all, this isn't an empty club room. This place echoes. The sound travels. You don't even really need your microphone, to be honest. But if you're looking to record it, it's always handy, I guess. The keeper appears to be a mixture of concerned and composed. Although it's not immediately clear whether it's for the prince, for herself, for both, or some other indiscernible reason. But you reach up to the microphone and you hear both their voices. It was a wise move to bring me on board, my prince. Heaven knows you have more than enough enemies right now. You could always be doing with more allies. I am still concerned you are moving too quickly. The breach of trust shown by your seneschal and the increasing boldness of the former keeper and the arrival of the Strix, we cannot afford to be fighting a war on 4 fronts. We need to handle these issues one at a time. I have no intention of going down like one of Valerius's errant childer. The former keeper has already been dealt with, and you will inherit all of her assets. What I need from you is a bit of faith and trust and a steady hand that I can rely on. As you say, the Seneschal's interactions with House Valerius mean she can no longer be relied upon. I'm curious, though, if the position were to open up, who would you be interested in recommending? Or would you take the position yourself? Keeper sort of holds up her hands in refusal. Oh, good God, no. I learned that lesson a long time ago. It is not a position I am well suited towards. And, well, while I like being placed within the limelight, I generally do not enjoy having a target placed upon my back either. But it appears your then true colleague, Lady Gauntlet, very much is. So perhaps I would recommend her if I were to be pushed to give you a suggestion. Yes, she appreciates the the discretion of your patronage. Yes, I am quite concerned of the need she would have for the need you would have for such hardware. Some of it I understand, given the directness of your Carthian rivals, far Carthian rivals. But if I may be so bold in saying, it looks almost as if you are stocking up for a war. If I may be as blunt as your enemies, I do not believe the city has an appetite for another war. Not after the last one ended so swiftly. Not so swiftly. So shortly ago, by our standards. By human standards. Prince gestures in confidence. The city would have no appetite for whoever were to cast the first blow. We are merely preparing for the inevitable. Both the Unconquered and the Carthians understood that this treaty was merely a ceasefire. And Verve and her crew will lose their patience some night or another. Between you and I believe it will be coming sooner rather than later. I don't think the city would take too much offense at the Princeton defending itself. Particularly if the Carthians are going so far out of their way to put unnecessary lives at risk. They've already done so once. Already. Still. While the Invictus is most powerful here, it is still one party among many. It is not undefeatable. Do not make the same mistake that Valerius's line once made. I am nothing like that withering fool. And I'd make it very clear to you that you do not compare me to that man or any of his deceased younglings again. Failures of his clan and of our sect. I would expect you, being so eager to rejoin the fold, to show perhaps a bit more respect than that. And as he says that, you notice his hand placed upon the glass table actually ends up pulling it up off the floor. It was literally screwed to the floor. The prince is not known to be physically so capable.
Someone has vigor. And snap a little picture of that with one of my spy cameras.
Okay. If Keeper goes back, she recalls a bit. She's actually a little bit afraid. It's very odd to see an elder so subdued by a neonate. And she says, "Apologies, my prince. I merely wish to see you succeed in the swiftest and most thorough way possible." She curtsies quite, again, like sort of too much, like for it to be normal or polite. And it's very much unlike the Keeper, who you've at least heard known of in passing to be the complete opposite of the whatever persona she's displaying now. Which means either her fear is entirely manufactured or it is very, very real.
Which either way could be bad.
It's on one far end of the spectrum or another, but there's not a lot of middle ground there.
So either the prince is secretly actually a Nos, or he's a lot more scary than most people realize.
You know, if he was projecting fear supernaturally to you, you would feel it. You don't feel
Okay.
it. I mean, you do feel afraid, perhaps, given that you're in a very tense situation
Yeah.
with no real support other than the ones that your little legs can reach within the next few seconds.
Yeah.
But it is not overwhelming. It's not. You are not terrified of him. It's It's certainly not something your Auspex seems to perceive either. So you don't think he's using that particular ability.
All right.
And if he is, it's quite subtle. Then again, your clan's known for subtlety. Then if we could move on. And sort of this, you will rejoin us. The old keeper will be stripped of her assets. You will inherit them. I'll consider your recommendation, if I'm being quite honest. Cynthia has shown herself to be extremely resourceful and capable. It's a shame we did not have room for her in the Primogen Council before. I think a seneschal position shall suit her quite nicely. That actually does remind me. Prince, I have some unfortunate news. The prince narrows his eyes. For one's involved in that little stunt. I have heard are currently in the possession of the former keeper. The prince almost leaps off his chair. Screams, "What?" And just rips, almost like, not intentionally really, just with, out of anger, just ends up knocking the table, shattering it mid-flight, and the metal legs that were holding it together go flying in your general direction. One, as it collides with the catwalk, bends the railing as it smashes into it. As both kindred look in that general direction, would you like to make me a quick wit stealth roll?
All right. I am going to be using my willpower here.
That's sweet willpower. Yeah, it will be the highest. Let's see, the highest wits here is 4, so it's currently -4. So you have a -1.
Right. And I just did something really stupid. Ignore that one.
Hey. The next dice roll will be a failure. That'll be the worst. Okay, you get it. Okay, both dice will succeed. So, it's but a glance. They don't really. The prince only looks in that direction because, well,
he just threw a table that direction and his head's
he
turned.
just threw a table that has now shattered into tiny pieces in that direction. The keeper looks in that direction because, well, the table was thrown in that direction and it almost hit her. You duck just out of the way, and just stay there for a little bit. The prince points to one of the security and says, "Someone clean that up." And security begin heading in your direction. Of course, they won't see you. To begin dusting up the detritus that had just been thrown all over the club and across the catwalk. And they hurry with speed. They waste no time. What do you do now? Are you going to keep recording, or are you going to take a healthy exit while you can?
I don't know. So from what I can tell, the reason for the mill. I've got some good stuff, but I feel like I might not have what she's wanting. So I'll stay for a little bit more.
Okay. As if we didn't already have enough fucking problems! You see his beast, his predatory aura flares. The beast almost tears itself out of his skin, but he calms himself with rapidity. I want you to find that place, and when you do, you tell me, and our archons will burn it to the ground with the bodies inside. As for our other business, I want you to host for our current seneschal. Please inform me when you do. I believe Miss Gauntlet would like to make use of the hardware that you have so kindly been storing for her. As for Constantine, let him play bait with the Strix for now. He's already brought in several neonates to serve as the sacrifice required to destroy them permanently. Until he outlives his usefulness, I do not mind granting a few liberties to a member of a family. Even if he has no understanding of the burdens that both of us labor under. If the crone truly do decide to turn against us, then he will be the one that I decide to spare. And his little cult following. But I doubt that will come to pass, so long as Mona remains in place. Continue funneling her whatever information you discover about the Andrastans. I'm sure she already owes you a great deal, and it serves our interests quite well for the situation to remain as it stands. Kiva bows. Of course, my prince.
And I think that's a good time to exit.
Okay.
I've got plenty of secrets. No need to push it any further.
Maybe one last wits or dex plus stealth to exit, whichever's your highest pull. I'll give you that.
I'll spend another willpower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same penalties as before.
Yep. So the same minus.
Yeah, the same -4.
Okay.
Exceptional success. Not even a hint that you were here at all, other than the remnant traces that you chose to leave behind, of which there are not many, and are generally well covered up. Or so obscure that people will likely not notice. You dodge every camera, the guards don't notice you, obfuscate holds, even though you're in a place you're clearly not meant to be in. And the two kindred in the VIP area do not notice you at all. They do not notice even a hint. Not a trace. Not the slightest clue. You are able to exit cleanly. Do you go through the back or do you go through the front?
I'll go back through the back.
Okay.
And while I'm back there, relock the shutters.
You already succeeded on the last sneak check, so I'll just say you
Yeah.
can do it again. Bit of a tough lock. It's takes you a couple of tries again. It's a bit stiff. The age of the thing actually seems to work against you here. But you work it well, and it's as if you were never there. And you're able to leave. To the night, unseen. Your obfuscate unbroken. and you're safe, you think, insofar as any kindred can be safe.
Yeah, now this kind of puts me in a situation. So I'm obviously going to make a copy of this to send over to my center shawl. But I'm also going to isolate certain parts of this to send to other people.
Okay. And I think as you make it home to do just that, that is where we can end the scene. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. And we shall see you all next time. Bye-bye.